Next here tonight, the wheels of justice now moving forward in the case of a man accused in a pair of cold case murders in Chautauqua County. Richard Fox appearing in Erie County Court this morning. He is the suspect in the killings of Marquita Mull and Cassandra Watson, whose bodies were discovered in shallow graves just a few feet apart on a trail in the town of Portland in 2021. Our senior reporter Maki Becker has been following this case closely for years tonight. And tonight, she's sharing the voice of a DNA expert who works for a company that helped identify the second victim. That same company also playing a crucial role in the capture of a suspected Gilgo Beach serial killer on Long Island.
Good morning, Your Honor. The next matter before you is the people of the state of New York versus Richard Fox.
Wednesday's hearing before Erie County Judge Suzanne Maxwell Barnes was a routine one. Any trial still months away, but that didn't matter to Wendy Mull, Marquita Mull's sister.
Oh, I'm coming every day. Richard Fox is in court. It's an emotional day every time I see him, but you know, just to see him behind bars and know that justice is coming. So yeah, I'm in court every day.
In September 2021, the remains of the two victims were found off the Chautauqua Rails to Trails off Wollabin Road in the town of Portland. Mull was identified a few weeks later, but authorities were having a hard time identifying the other woman, whose remains had clearly been there much longer. I've also been looking into another key part of the case, how police were finally able to identify the second set of remains that ended up being Cassandra Watson.
They were having a hard time doing anything with the DNA profile they had.
That's Michael Vogan of Othram, a forensic DNA lab in Woodlands, Texas that was contracted to try to get an ID. Othram recently helped investigators identify two other cold case victims believed to be connected to the high-profile Gilgo Beach serial killer case on Long Island. Here's what the lab does.
It's kind of like a sonar radar, right? And each match in the database is like a blip on that radar that kind of narrows your focus of where you need to go. And ultimately, the idea is that this forensic genetic genealogy is giving them a new investigative lead that they otherwise wouldn't have.
Othram found a match to a potential relative of the victim, a Buffalo man who had recently died. Further research pointed investigators to more relatives, leading them to Cassandra Watson, who was 40 when she was last seen by relatives in 2003 or 2004.
They determined that in the early 2000s, Cassandra lived in the city of Buffalo with Richard Fox. Once they made that connection between Richard Fox, obviously this case came to a head very quickly.
All the cases that we work on are important, but I personally have a bit of a soft spot for unidentified homicide victims, because how do you sort out who did this to them if you don't know who they are?
A mystery solved and a suspect remains in jail. Maki Becker, 7 News, Buffalo.